What is behind the SpaceX $800 billion valuation ahead of a potential 2026 IPO? Now, we know this could benefit Tesla, and today we'll talk about it. This is by Reuters. SpaceX has informed investors and representatives of financial institutions that it plans to pursue an initial public offering in the second half of next year. Now, this is what we know so far. The information reported on Friday, the rocket maker founded by Elon Musk is considering a public listing of the entire company, including Starlink, its internet satellite service, according to the report. And this is what Elon said prior. Now, Musk said in 2020 that SpaceX is planning to list Starlink several years in the future once its revenue growth becomes more smooth and predictable. Why is this happening now? Well, the news of a potential IPO follows a media report. Musk's SpaceX is kicking off a secondary share sale that would value the rocket maker at $800 billion, pitting it against OpenAI for the title of the most valuable private company.
David, good to see you. It is a private company, in fact, and that is SpaceX, which is now the main rocket fuel for Elon Musk's personal wealth. According to reports, SpaceX is planning that secondary share sale that would value the private company at $800 billion. So Elon's stake would be worth over $320 billion. That assumes that 40% ownership in SpaceX has not changed. Meanwhile, his direct shares in Tesla are worth about $182 billion. So even if you add in the options from that disputed pay package back in 2018, his Tesla wealth is being far outpaced right now by SpaceX.
SpaceX's finance chief, Brad Johnson, told investors about the sale in recent days. The Wall Street Journal reported earlier on Friday, citing with people familiar with the matter. Now, the new potential valuation is double the $400 billion value it fetched in a recent secondary share sale. The $800 billion valuation would put SpaceX ahead of ChatGPT parent OpenAI, which is valued at $500 billion as of October, making it the most valuable privately held company in the world, according to Crunchbase data. Separately, Bloomberg News on Friday reported that SpaceX is preparing to sell insider shares that could include a share price of around $300, which would value the company roughly at $560 billion. Why is this all of a sudden? Several billionaires and private firms, including SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, are fueling a new space race in the US, pouring money into rockets, satellites, and lunar missions. It's a race for space, and Tesla will play a part in this. Now, just hold on. Of all the buzzy private companies that public market investors are desperate to get their hands on, SpaceX may be the most prominent. When the talk started up last week of an upcoming public offering by the Elon Musk-led rocket company, people were all ears. However, Musk has since stepped in to address one part of the reports regarding a $800 billion valuation, while seeming to ignore the broader public listing rumors. Also, on Friday, the tech media outlet The Information reported that SpaceX has told investors and financial institutions that it plans to go public in the back half of 2026. The satellite service Starlink was said to be included in a planned IPO. That shatter came after a report in the Wall Street Journal alleged that SpaceX's CFO recently told investors to plan for a secondary equity sale that would value the aerospace giant at $800 billion, double of what it was priced prior in a secondary sale. And of course, an $800 billion valuation would also catapult SpaceX ahead of the artificial intelligence giant OpenAI, recently valued at $500 billion, making it the most valuable privately held company in the world, according to Reuters. For now, it's not clear how real the valuation is. On Saturday, Musk took to X to dispute that SpaceX is raising money at an $800 billion valuation. He said that the reports to that effect were not accurate. However, Musk said SpaceX has been cash flow positive for many years and does periodic stock buybacks twice a year to provide liquidity for employees and investors. He continued valuation increments are a function of progress with Starship and Starlink and recurring global direct-to-cell spectrum that greatly increases our addressable market. And this is just earlier by Bloomberg.
SpaceX is moving ahead with plans for an initial public offering that would seek to raise significantly more than $30 billion. Sources tell Bloomberg the transaction would make SpaceX the biggest listing of all time. The company, led by Elon Musk, is targeting a valuation of about $1.5 trillion for the entire company. Sources say they are pursuing a listing as soon as mid to late 2026, but depending on market conditions, that timing could slip into 2027. A representative for SpaceX did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
And this is what Dan Ives said. We would be shocked if Tesla does not take a stake in SpaceX as a part of its process. Now, how will Tesla benefit? Think about it. Optimus robots will build cities on Mars, not people. Energy supply will come from the sun via solar. And both of those are all Tesla. However, SpaceX hasn't set a final IPO price for its expected late 2026 IPO, but is currently testing a $800 billion valuation via insider share sales, which would make its stock significantly higher than its July 2025 $400 billion valuation, while some reports suggest per sale prices over $400 or around $300 in other reports. The actual IPO price will depend on market conditions, but early indicators point to a massive valuation for the combined SpaceX and Starlink entity. Now, here are some key points for the valuation. Target valuation: SpaceX is aiming for an $800 billion valuation as it prepares for its IPO. This valuation implies a much higher per share price than previous sales, with discussion around $400 plus per share for the upcoming insider sale, though some reports mention $300. An $800 billion valuation would place SpaceX among the world's largest public companies. This follows a mid-2025 valuation of $400 billion and a July 2025 price of $212 per share for insider stock. What to expect for the IPO price? The final price will be determined when the company goes public, influenced by market demand, company performance, especially Starlink growth, and overall economic climate. The $800 billion figure is a target for current share sales, not the official IPO price, though it's said to be a high benchmark. If SpaceX does go public by the end of next year, are you considering buying shares depending on the share price? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. And if you would like to see what's going on with Elon Musk's companies, you could watch this next. And don't forget to tune in on Monday for more news about Tesla, Elon Musk, and his other companies. My name is Claudia, and goodbye.